All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the notorious, glorious V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live on this edition of Mornings with V and CJ, where we bring you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguemoney.net. With that being said, also check out our sponsors, remaincom.net. Check out also the cryptoschool.io. If you hadn't got a chance yesterday, the boys were on and they were breaking it down, man. They were breaking it down. So check them out on the cryptoschool.io. Watch us trade live. And also check out mycbdedibles.com. Whether you want a delicious cup of CBD infused coffee in the morning, perhaps you're done with a grueling workout and you want to have some delicious CBD infused granola with some almond milk, maybe a chocolate peanut butter buckeye, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, My CBD Edibles is the place to get it. All kinds of deliciousness is there for you, waiting for you. A plethora, a world of wonder, a world of enchantment. Go there, mycbdedibles.com. And with that out of the way, CJ, what's crack-lacking?
Hey, good morning, V. Doing great. Doing great. The weather's real nice here today. It's like lower 80s. It's supposed to stay that way. Low humidity. I mean, it's gonna be a gorgeous day.
It's a perfect day. It's a perfect day. I love it, CJ. I truly do love it. I don't know why I'm talking this way.
I don't know.
Oh man, let's get into it, dude. Let's pick an article, then I'll jump into a big one that James wrote on roguemoney.net, which is something that I've been talking about for the last several weeks. And this is, again, guys, this is a new paradigm. A lot of things are emerging. This is one of the working theories that I'm working with over here. So let's pick something here, Siege. What do you want to start with?
Well, let's do a really quick flashback because I think it's really time to move on and it won't take but a second to talk about it, and that's the entire bogus Russian collusion. I mean,
yeah,
there's a recent poll out showing how much the average American really concerns, and it's a poll done by Gallup, and it's like 2% of Americans like really even care about any type of Russian collusion right now. So for the media, for the Democrats, for them to spend so much time and energy, it's really time for them to move on. And I know our listeners are tired here. Every time I talk about Russia inclusion, I feel like I've taken like a step back, like a year, 2 years, because it seems like it's been that long. We continue to talk about it, but I do really quick want to bring something to our listeners' attention, to those that are listening that may not share the same perspective. But you have to keep in mind that dating back last year, that Obama's cyber chief actually confirmed that there was a stand down order given during the Russian cyber attacks, apparently in 2016. Now, why? May I ask, well, why that's important? Isn't that just confirming that
it wasn't the Russians?
Well,
exactly.
you really do. You have to read between the lines. And B, why would Obama and the NSA, and why would they order a stand down to any type of infiltration? Why would they purposely, try not to allow any additional safety protocols to be added for the monitoring of some of our infrastructure regarding elections? Well, I mean, like what you just stated, I think unless we knew that there were foreign agents that were already doing it and that we were in support of them doing it, would you really want that to be uncovered?
No.
Exactly, right. So in fact, they knew that this was happening. However, this was the CIA, this was non-US intelligence agencies purposely, spying and colluding. And so therefore, that's why they wanted to keep this going. They stated, yeah, we don't want to do this. We want to order a stand down. It was kind of put on the back burner. This particular agent was like just kind of in disbelief. Why would Obama do this? Well, you have to read between the lines, because it didn't serve any purpose at that time, because we knew for a fact that there were other foreign intelligence that were interfering in the election.
You know what? Absolutely, dude. I mean, here's the deal. The comments by Michael Daniel, who served as the White House cybersecurity coordinator between 2012 and January last year, provided his first public confirmation of the much discussed passage in the book, Russian Roulette, the inside story of Putin's war in America and election day of Donald Trump. Now, granted, this guy, Michael Daniels, is framing it as if it's Russians, and I don't know what his cybersecurity expertise is, because most of these guys who are expertise and professionals and intelligence is just a massive euphemism for an idiot. It's a euphemistic way of calling somebody an idiot, because that's what we seem to have infiltrated much of the country. It's not Russian hacking. It's idiots at work. Okay. But the end of the point is, sometimes, folks, in order to extract information, you have to find out what the idiot is saying in the midst of, quote unquote, the data. The data, okay, forget the whole Russia roulette, forget the whole, the Russian hacking, blah, 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 blah. Because I guarantee you, if Russia were to hack the United States, there will be no trace of, it's coming from Russia. Okay? It's come on, this is stupid, this is blatant, you all know this, all right? But one thing is true, just like what CJ said, there was what? A stand-down order. Just like on 9/11, there was what? A stand-down order. NORAD stood down on 9/11. The attacks went through. The planes were able to fly around for hours on end without any sort of interception. Meanwhile, you get into your Cessna, you go off track, within 15 minutes, you got an F-16 on your wing with a missile lock. On 9/11, hours on end, they're flying up there. No problem. So the same thing occurs during the quote-unquote elections. And CJ and I spoke about this during the election cycle, the fall of October 2016, where we broke the news, where we talked about it. We said, we're the only ones that actually really, we broke it. We talked about it. We said, hey, you know what? The state attorney general from the state of Georgia confronted the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and they were asking DHS, why were you trying to breach our firewalls? And DHS realized, because again, these are all quote unquote intelligence services. Folks, when you hear intelligence services, you have to understand, when you run a low IQ country, such as we've been running the last several years, we've been training our idiot children. Most of these millennials going into college, and they're they're working for these intelligence agencies. These aren't the best and brightest. The best and brightest go work for the private sector. These are idiots. So that's why they get caught. They get caught. So the state of Georgia's attorney general says, hey, why are you trying to breach your service? What's going on here? And of course, there was no real answer given from the DHS. And now, here's the other piece of the clue. And now here comes the cybersecurity czar under Obama. Says, oh yeah, we were told to stand down. Stand down for what? Wait a minute, if it truly was a Russian attack, why did you stand down? If it truly was that. Shouldn't your job be to stop it? Huh? Shouldn't it be to stop it, Michael Daniel? Shouldn't it be? But no, that's not the case. You stood down to let this go through. Because just like Iraqi, hostage-taking, airplane flying, just like Iraqis didn't commit 9/11, Russians didn't commit this cyber hack of the United States. Same thing, okay? And the issue is this, folks. They stood down because at a pay grade and a level higher than Michael Daniel, an idiot who just riding the jockstrap of this entire Russian hacking BS. Okay, excuse the noise. I think there's some construction going on outside my office.
I can't hear it at all.
Beautiful. Yep. So apart from Michael Daniel stating this, a pay grade above him knew that the attack going through was not Russian in origin. It was CIA. It was the cocaine import agency doing what it does best, which is subterfuge, sabotage, okay, and coup. Subterfuge, sabotages, and coups. That's what the cocaine import agency does best, apart from importing narcotics and human trafficking. It's the other thing they do quite well and quite fondly. So they stood down, so it appears to make it look like a Russian attack. I mean, come on, this is so stupid. It's as clear as day for anybody who has the wherewithal to see that. How do you know it's a Russian? Hey, we got the IP address. That can be spoofed. It can? Oh, well, we know it's Russians. Really? Really? See, this is what happens, folks, when you refuse, when you have people that are elected that represent you, supposed to be, but they don't really represent you. They don't really, not only do they not represent you, they really don't even ask the tough questions on your behalf. They just don't do it. So it's a ridiculous thing, Siege. It really is.
Yeah, so I threw this up real quick, B. It's actually worse than what I said it was. So you take a look at it with all the hype, the most recent weeks of the whole Trump-Putin meeting, everything that was said about it, the trees and everything. In this Gallup poll, they were polled, what items, what concerns you the most? Well, the whole Russian problem, escalation, everything didn't even warrant a 1% or minus in terms of the importance of what Americans are focused on right now. So can we drive on? Can we just forget?
I mean, I'm looking at this article and I'm not even focused on that. I'm looking at these numbers. It's ridiculous. I'm focused on Israel. These photos will make you wonder what was it? Back down. Will make you wonder about visiting. That's what I'm focused on right now this morning. But anyway, yeah. Nobody cares about this Russia collusion nonsense. It's BS. It's total BS. Anyway, moving on, Siege. Moving on. All right. Let's talk about let me see here. I mean, our deficit is business as usual, Siege. $1 trillion next year deficit. Nothing new there. And here's from our new site, Rogue News, baby. Yeah, folks, we are officially Rogue News. Everything's transitioning over. We're no longer Rogue Money. We're Rogue News. And these changes will take effect very soon. All right, so cooperation between the U.S. and Russia, Petrostates. Russia has partnered with OPEC and the other producer nations since 2017 to manage nearly half of the world's oil supply. The countries took action after the crude prices sank to a 12-year lows in 2016, piling pressure on oil-dependent economies and bankrupting hundreds of U.S. energy companies. The United States, where drillers compete in a free market, is not part of the deal. U.S. laws prohibit companies from colluding to price fixes, and bipartisan group of U.S. Congress members recently revived a push to punish OPEC for allegedly price fixing. What the hell do these idiots think OPEC is? Still, Putin suggested that some form of cooperation is still possible during a press conference with the U.S. President Donald Trump in Helsinki. I think that we as a major oil and gas power, and the United States is a major oil and gas power as well, we can work together on regulation of international markets because neither of us actually interested in plummeting of the prices. But nor are we interested in driving prices up because it will drain a lot of juices from all of the sectors of the economy. So we do have space for cooperation here, he said. Trump has demanded that OPEC tame fuel costs after a slow and steady rally accelerated this year, led by Saudi Arabia and Russia. The 24 producer nations last month agreed to hike output to offset falling output in Venezuela and the looming sanctions on Iran and the world's fifth largest oil producer. Now, there's a great article here, and when you get a chance, folks, go through it and read it. And James brings out a lot of details here. Folks, the reason why I point to this article is this. I mean, for weeks now, you've heard me mention the new American system. And I said that Trump, that began with the tariffs, and I told you not to worry about the tariffs. It's going to look messy. It's going to look hot and heated. It's going to look really quarrelsome. I said, don't worry. China will be at the negotiating table. Okay? Watch what happens. Okay? Now, I'm telling you right now, the Middle East, OPEC is done for. The Middle East, OPEC is done for. OPEC is unreliable. The Middle East is volatile. People are sick of the shenanigans over there. And folks, let's be honest. If there was no Western involvement, let's just take out Western involvement in general. Okay? What do you think would happen to the Middle East? I mean, Siege, let's be honest here. If Western involvement never came to the Middle East, what do you think the Middle East will look like today, Siege? Would we see those? Yeah, there's some crappy hellholes in the Middle East, but would we see cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi? Do you think they'd be built up the way they are if the West never came to the Middle East and discovered oil and showed them how to extract it? Do you think that those little fiefdoms would be where they are today, Siege?
You know, it's hard to envision that with how much destruction we've created through the Middle East, but I guess it would be. I mean, yeah. I mean,
okay. So my thing is this, man. If these great fiefdoms that you see, these great built up places like Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, in some regard, Saudi Arabia, they wouldn't be where they are economically speaking if it were not for the West, number one. Now, let's just say the West leaves. Let's just say there's a vacuum of the West leaving. Let's just say there's a vacuum because we're no longer relying on the petrodollar anymore in its current state and form. That we exit stage right. Okay, we exit stage right, and we pull the deep state strings along with us. So there's no deep state creating these proxy groups and creating infighting and creating boogeymen working their Hegelian dialectic as they always do. What would happen? Well, the Middle East would collapse. It would collapse. These guys will literally go back to the Stone Age. They'll literally fall back into, I mean, these energy-dependent economies that are in the Middle East will literally implode. They'd implode. That's what would happen. And the world, folks, is pretty much had it up to their eyeballs with the Middle East. It's a shitstorm. Pardon-moi français. It is a shitstorm. An absolute shitstorm. Nothing gets fixed. Nothing ever will be fixed. So I think what's happening here, folks, is the world is moving on, leaving the Middle East leaving it to its own wherewithal to fix its own internal problems. After all, we have the Gulf Cooperative. So the question becomes, what of America? How does America fit? And this is the multi-trillion-dollar question, folks. We have a coming global economic reset. We have a fake U.S. economy with fake money, fake wealth, fake and real debt. The only thing real about the phantom economy and the phantom wealth and the phantom growth, the only thing real about it, folks, is the very real debt. It is insurmountable. It is unavoidable. It is uncircumventable. It is a reality realer than real itself. And it is full speed ahead, ramming speed, Mr. Tristan, directly into the hull of the USS America. That's the only thing real about our economy. How to deal with this debt issue? The same man, Donald Trump, who is a smart and brilliant man, who understands, hey, you know what, we have a bubble in the stock market, we have all these problems economically, changes his tune saying, yeah, we want tremendous growth, tremendous this, tremendous that, everything's tremendous. Is he a moron? Is he using convenience? Or is he understanding that the public and their mental wherewithal, their faculties in order to absorb the data and to process the data, that their faculties are in fact limited? Does he understand that aspect of it? That the average Joe and Jane on the street cannot fathom the deep wherewithal, the market mystics, and the real data that's out there. He knows this. He knows this. My theory that I propose to you is a new American century. My theory that I propose to you is a new American system. And that American system, folks, what has been happening since the man came into office? Since day one, that night, he got his inauguration. He didn't even go to no party. Other people partied. What he did, he went right up to the office. My man started writing deregulation deals. He's like, screw this Obama policy, F this Obama policy, F that Obama. Just one by one dismantling every single stranglehold, every single death clutch that was on U.S. business, particularly around energy and trade, is his focus. Why? Well, the energy was being shackled. And since then, drilling and energy discovery has been on an absolute tear. Folks, I've been telling you this for some time now. In the last 18 months or so, the United States has quickly, rapidly, and at an incredibly shocking rate, we have become the largest energy powerhouse on the planet. Okay? And I'm talking about when you're counting shale oil, and the technology keeps improving, so it becomes cheaper to extract shale. And yes, shale is a lower BTUs than what's coming out of the ground in Saudi Arabia and what's coming out of the ground in Russia. It's a lower thermal unit. It's a lower. It has less dense energy, but if you refine it properly with the right refining capability, you have yourself a quality piece of petroleum. So, but the big ringer here, folks, is the reason why there's wars all around the Middle East. There's wars around the Middle East not because of oil. No. The next big energy boom is in natural gas. What do you think the Syria conflict is? Natural gas. What do you think the beef is between Saudi Arabia and Qatar? Natural gas. What do you think the beef is between Saudi Arabia and Yemen and all that war and conflict in Yemen? Natural gas. Everything has to do with natural gas. What is the big deal with Iran and oil? It's natural gas. Iran's oil fields are huge, but their natural gas is even bigger. And who is the natural gas kingpin on the planet? Bing, 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 bing. It's us. It's us. So how does Trump bring about the new American system? How does Trump do that? Number one, protect the U.S. technology. How do you protect U.S. technology? By putting in real trade tariffs that grab these Chinese commies. I'm not going to call them commies. They're really not. Grab the Chinese by the nutsack. Bring them to the negotiating table and say, hey, here's the deal. Yeah, the free ride you guys been getting. And guys, I'm telling you right now, okay, I've been in commodities projects where, I would be, talking to one of my buddies over there who's, another cohort who'd work in commodities. He said, hey, man, how's everything going? Well, we had so-and-so come by our cobalt factory, our refining factory. And who was he? He was Chinese. What was he doing? He was looking around. We're setting up a cobalt deal to start exporting cobalt and molybdenum to the Chinese. But this guy wants to come around, and he's inspecting our refining process. He wants to see how we do it. I'm like, industrial espionage. He goes, yep, that's exactly what it is. But he goes, he's like, yeah, but our CEO is an idiot because our CEO, this is what he does. He says in order to get the deal, he's giving away the secret recipe on how we do it. I said, it's industrial espionage. Folks, I traveled through South America. I went, several times I went to Central America. I get off the plane there, apart from the indigenous populations that are there, I'm seeing Chinese walking around all over the place. Why? It's industrial espionage. Can I just say that? Can we have an adult conversation? This is the reality of it. And I don't hate them for it. They're freaking cutting. I would be doing the same thing. Oh, you want to cut a deal with me? Show me how you make that special sauce for your burgers. McDonald's? You want to see? Teach me how to... What is the special sauce in the Big Mac? You're going to have to open the kimono. You're going to have to show me the full-on kabuki theater. You're going to have to tell me what the secret sauce is. And I can't hate them for it. Because wanton, willful, spineless politicians give them access to these things because money's thrown at them. And that's the racket that the Chinese have been working. That's the unfair, quote-unquote, unfair advantage that Trump's talking about. That's why all of a sudden, Boeing wants to build a plant in China, and then China's like, we want to know how you build your the 787 Dreamliner. Yes. General Electric wants to get a plant. Oh, yes. Please tell us your GE 10X engine, your GE 10X and 90 engine. The very good engine. How do you make it? Please tell us what? Oh, what? You want to use uranium? Oh, you use uranium. How much uranium do you use? Oh, you use a titanium for blade and uranium together in special alloy with nickel carbide composite? Oh, very good. Yes. What else do you do? Do you understand? That's the game that's being played. So how's Trump fixing the problem? Tariffs kick these guys in the nuts. It hurts them more than it hurts us. Number one. Has any of your life been affected? Not many. Even though the media's hyping up, U.S. businesses are going under because of the tariffs. It's not. What's happening if a U.S. business goes under, okay, and they go out of business, hey man, they needed to go. Because what Trump is doing he's creating an economic demand which can be filled domestically. He's creating an economic domestic demand for American steel companies and American raw material companies to step up, ramp up, and make it to fill the demand. That's what this whole entire thing's about. And what's been happening? Yeah, you're going to hear some glum stories like, certain companies, the potato chip companies going down. They can't afford the plastic in their potato chip bags. They can't afford to get that plastic from China. They're going down in flames. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, but the handful of people that have lost their jobs in the potato chip factory because of the plastic bag situation, I understand. I get it. But what I'm also talking about here, folks, is this. There are U.S. steel manufacturing jobs that are ramping up bigly. These are steel and aluminum manufacturers. These guys are ramping up big time in order to fill the void. And that creates more jobs in the potato chip factory. Higher paying jobs. That's what this game is about. You're going to have a little bit of pain, little bit of suffering, little bit of loss in one area to create massive growth in the other area. That's the new American system. So protecting American technology will say, hey, Boeing could go, hey, we're going to build a plant in your country, but no, the source code to our entire aircraft program, you're not getting. Oh, what do you mean? You're not going to give it to us? No, Charlie, we're not going to give it to you. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, we're going to become an energy powerhouse, okay? That means we are going to see a launch of a new petrodollar. This petrodollar is not backed by gold. We don't have no stinking gold to back our money with. We know that. Trump knows that. The good guys in power know that. But we do have is redonkulous energy reserves. A new petrodollar that is not based on Saudi pipelines, but based on U.S. petroleum output. What a bargaining chip. Then with the global economic reset coming along, folks, the reset button is hit. We reset the debt on everything else. Everybody starts from scratch. The world moves on. Done and done. That's what I got to say, Siege.
Well spoken, V. Break it down.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the game that's being played here. So a cooperation between the U.S. and Russia, which is the two military powers on the planet, the two in energy and petroleum powers on the planet, is a perfect. It's like peanut butter and jelly, man. And guess what? U.S. and Russia working together can supply the energy needs of Europe. And this is what I said. Don't be surprised. You got some natural gas pipelines coming in from Russia, going into Alaska, coming down through Canada and into the United States. Don't forget, don't be surprised. There's some new energy deals that's going to be done between the U.S. and Europe where a more efficient system of transfer will take place. These things will happen. Just wait for it. Wait for it. You guys I'm telling you, there's going to be some temporary discomfort. We're going to go through this global economic reset. But there is a new world emerging. I feel good about it, Siege. I feel good.
There you have it, folks.
Anything else you want to cover, buddy?
That's it. I do want to update the audience a couple things real quick. Our fans, we did move Hanging to Harley tomorrow to Friday at noon. Yesterday, the boys broke it down. A great trading show. So go check that out if you haven't listened to it yet. That's up. And that's all I have, V.
Do we have Gustavo today?
Oh, yes. How could I forget Cuss with Gus? Yes, Cuss with Gus, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'll run it. I'll host it. It's all good.
All right. Awesome.
And with that being said, folks, we are over and we're out. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Take it away, CJ.